tell you my problems, meditating my silence. But I keep pushing my pen, rotating my stylus. Brokenness feeling like sin, not no breath, low dollar. Used to be left on red, now.
Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blogs, so let's get to it.
Get that shit right back tomorrow. Somehow all the fans go bravo. Smile so much to hide my sorrows. Faith is shaky in vibrato.
All right, Roxstars, so I am not in the studio today. I'm in the house because Jada has my car. Because Jada's car needs to be, the brakes need to be changed. Shit sound like a damn train trying to stop. I was just like, Jada, so when are you gonna take the car in exactly? So anyway, she had to take my car to work, so here we are. I've got to get through this quickly because, honey, they cracking down at work, child. So anyway, first story up, you guys, is actually an update on the TyreNicholsCase case, or the arrest, I should say. We haven't got to the case yet, but remember last week I was telling you guys that there were certain rumors that were flying around, which is always what happens when things like this happen. You know, we have our social media investigators that will get ahead of the story and put out what the streets are saying. Sometimes it's accurate, sometimes it's not. But it definitely happens because social media is immediate. You know, the news will have to be vetting out and trying to find out things and wait for the news to come on to put it on there, but you can get your shit immediately on social media. So a lot of times those stories come out. In this case, I told you guys last week that one of the rumors that was pretty popular was that Tyre Nichols was seeing a woman. I'm not sure if she worked with him or not. He worked for FedEx. I've heard rumors that she worked for FedEx as well, that he was seeing her. And one of the cops, Demetrius Haley, supposedly this girl was an ex of his. Not sure if it's ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, or I've even heard that he was still actively with that woman. Don't know if this is true, you guys. This is truly all just what they're saying on the social media and also my opinion. The family had debunked that and said that that was not true. However, now we see, as more information comes out about the case, we see that Demetrius Haley was one of the cops who took pictures of Tyre Nichols while he was propped up against the police car, battered and bruised, and handcuffed against the cop car. He was sitting on the ground. He took a picture of him, took a couple of pictures of him and sent them out, they say, to 6 people, including a female acquaintance. See, the other people that they said in this report were supposedly like officers or people who worked in the police force. But there was one person that was a female acquaintance that stuck out to me, and it just seemed peculiar that there was just this one woman that they sent this picture to. So I'm starting to wonder if there is some truth to that story. Now, of course, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that he was fooling around with the girl. They could have been in a relationship and the police officer could have been jealous about it. They could have just been friends and the police could have thought something was going on. But there seems to be some sort of tie-in on why Demetrius felt it necessary to send the picture out to people, okay? Especially somebody who's not in the police force. You know, I would imagine that police officers probably do send pictures and things from different investigations to each other. That probably happens more often than we'd like to think. But the woman was what stuck out for me. They haven't said, you know, they haven't released really any motive on why these police officers stopped him. We do know that they said that he was driving recklessly. However, everybody has said that, according to the cameras, that he was not driving recklessly and that they pretty much didn't have any reason to be pulling him over. When you saw the video, if you did see the video, then you know that that beating looked personal. Mr. had pointed that out to me as soon as we saw it, and I know a lot of other people were thinking the same as well. It was just like, why you guys was going so hard on this young man, you know? So I don't know. I just wanted to talk about it. It could very well still not be true. So I don't want you guys to think that I'm putting like untrue information out there, but I wanted to put this in here because I know that it is being talked about on social media, you know, in the blogs. So that's what they're saying. We still need to find out what exactly was the reason. I mean, it had to have been a reason that they felt that they needed to pull this man over. They were so close to his home. It was just sort of like, were they waiting for him to come through a certain intersection, or, you know, were they waiting on him? So I think as time goes on, we'll get more information. Maybe they're holding that information closer to the vest as they go through their investigation. You know how sometimes the police departments and the investigators and all want to make sure that they keep everything kind of contained so that they can keep it from just getting too wild and crazy and spreading like a wildfire. So, you know, that's what they're saying. Still very sad story. And like I said last week, anybody that was involved in contributing to the death of Tyre Nichols, even if you didn't even hit on the man, okay? There are people who stood around and didn't try to help him when it was obvious he was in distress. Anybody that was a part of that whole situation, they need to pay. That is the latest on the Tyre Nichols case. As we know more, then of course I will tell you more, and I'm sure more will come out soon.
Can't hold a frown too long. I can't stay down too long.
All right, rock stars, next story up. So the 65th annual Grammy Awards aired on Sunday night. It was hosted by Trevor Noah, who I think did awesomely well. I love Trevor Noah. I think that he is so, he is quick-witted and he's smart and he's knowledgeable about music, because if you read his book, Born a Crime, then you know that he used to be a DJ back in South Africa, where he was born and raised. And I think that he's just a perfect fit. Most people like him. It works out well. I think he does well. I think this is his second time hosting the Grammys. I enjoy Trevor Noah as the Grammy Award host. Anyway, you guys, the show was what it was. I didn't really care about the Grammys. I never do, because I don't always know all the artists and all that. And I'm just like, yeah, I just, you know, I tune in because I want to see what people are wearing. And I want to see the folks that won, you know, the big awards. Of course, this year I wanted to see if Beyonce was going to get her awards to hit the record. I wanted to see the hip hop tribute. That was pretty much all I was in it for, you guys. And once the tribute happened, I took it on to sleep. Okay, bitch was tired. But anyway, you guys, let's talk about what happened that night. First, let's start with some of the, I just actually saw this on social media, on Instagram. 50 Cent was complaining that Bad Bunny's performance, which he was the opening act, as big of an artist that Bad Bunny is, that the Grammys did not take the time to translate in closed caption the words that he was singing and rapping. The words that was coming out of his mouth, they were not, they didn't translate it in closed caption. Okay, instead it just said speaking in non-English, singing in non-English. Okay, I've seen that quite a few times. I've actually seen it on Netflix, other streaming services. You know, a lot of times they will not put whatever, if the person is speaking in, say, French or in another language, they'll just say speaking in French, okay? But in this case, the Grammys did not have anybody, apparently, or obviously, or maybe they just didn't feel like it, but they didn't have somebody to translate what he was saying. Now, I didn't even know that Bad Bunny was speaking in a different language. I thought that he was kind of speaking in like a broken type. You know how it's like patois? It's not really patois, but it's like that broken English / Spanish kind of together, like Spanglish or something. I kind of thought that that's what he does. I don't really listen to Bad Bunny's music, so I don't know, but the people are upset about this. Did that upset you guys that they couldn't take the time to translate? I guess that can be upsetting for some people that are reading it in closed caption. I wouldn't have been reading it in that language anyway. So y'all just let me know if that's something that the folks need to be upset about. Is the Grammy not taking the time to translate or, put these words up for other artists that aren't, of the other persuasion? Y'all let me know what you think about it. But let's talk about all the good that happened that day. Okay, or that evening, I should say. Now, first, let's talk about Viola Davis. Okay, our girl who won a Grammy for her audiobook of her autobiography, Finding Me. We read that in the Roxy Reads book club. We read that a few months ago. But anyway, she was the one that narrated the audiobook, and she won a Grammy for that. So good for Viola Davis. This will put her in the EGOT status. She said that on the stage. I was happy for her. I thought she looked beautiful. I loved her dress. I loved her hair. I loved her makeup. I was just like, yes, Viola, you better do it. BICTH. Shout out to Mama D. This put her in the EGOT status. Okay, let's see what all she has won to put her there. Okay, now, of course, we have as the Emmy. You already know that she won as our girl Annalise Keaton on How to Get Away with Murder. I think she won that in 2015, was it? 2016. Okay, I sure do miss How to Get Away with Murder. Even though that show was a bitch to review. We used to have some good old times with How to Get Away with Murder. Okay, so that's how she got her Emmy. Her Grammy, of course, was this, like I just told you, for Finding Me. Her Oscar was for her portrayal of Rose in the movie Fences. Remember, they adapted the play to the movie. She was also in the play. She also won a Tony for the play for the same role. In the movie, she played opposite Denzel Washington. Remember, she won that Oscar for that role. She won a Tony for that role, and she actually won another Tony for her role in what was the name of that? King Hedley II. Okay, so she actually has two. She's an EGOT. So congratulations to Viola. I mean, Viola can really do no wrong. I really, really love her. She is the 18th person to grab a hold of this EGOT status. Other Black people that have that award status is Jennifer Hudson, Whoopi Goldberg, John Legend. Okay, and now we have Viola Davis. So congratulations to her. We also have the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award. This was the first year that they have awarded that award. And of course, they gave the award to Dr. Dre, okay, who was looking really, really good. I was like, boy, that money. And honey, because remember for a while, he was like a muscle head. He was like a bufferino. He was like just kind of too big. And every time we saw him, it was like he would have on them tight ass shirts. I was like, now I'm gonna need you to put down the skims. That shit was all tight and his muscles was all, isolated and whatever. I was just like, yeah, no. But some of that then softened out. Like I think finally Dr. Dre done put down the weights. He ain't working out like that no more. And he looks good. He looks good. He's still the same Dr. Dre, though. Let D. Barnes tell it. D. Barnes is upset with the Grammys for giving him this award. Not only giving him the award, but also naming award after him, because this award will go on in history of the Grammys. They will give it to people who are, making waves in production and music and things like that. Okay. So she was upset about the fact that they gave him this award. And she said that the Grammys are pretty point blank supporting a woman abuser. Okay. Now we know back in 2000, let's see, when was this? Actually, it wasn't 2000. In 1991, on her show, Pump It Up on BET, they did a segment on the show and it was about Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre was not happy about the segment that was done, and he continued to beat Dee Barnes up after the segment aired. They said beat her up pretty bad, okay? Of course, charges were pressed. He ended up pleading no contest to assault and battery. He paid a $2,500 fine. He had community service. He had probation. But pretty much that was it for him. We know that Dee Barnes has talked out about this many times. It is still something that affects her, and I'm sure that this was triggering for her to see this. It seemed that the people have just forgotten about it. Dr. Dre went on to have a very successful and well-celebrated career, while Dee Barnes has had to, she has had to talk about this and deal with this on her own, and has felt pretty much that nobody has supported her the same way that they have supported Dr. Dre. I mean, you guys know how it goes. Big money does talk. And yeah, it's too bad. It is too bad. I actually was surprised that they gave him that award as well, considering that background, and especially in this Me Too type era. I was actually kind of shocked that happened, but he did receive that award. Harry Styles won the coveted Album of the Year award, and he was definitely going up against Beyonce for her Renaissance album. You guys, I have been listening to that Renaissance album again because I was trying to bring in good juju so that I could try to get these damn tickets. Actually, the book club and we were trying to see about getting a suite, because you guys had mentioned in my comments last week about trying to get a suite to the Renaissance concert. Sometimes it might work out to be less. And I did definitely look into it. Mercedes-Benz Stadium did actually have suites left, or they had like a wait list, and they were going to open them up. You could put the down payment on it and everything, but it still worked out to be a little bit more than what we wanted to pay, but it still was a good deal. Like, it worked out that if you had 20 people that wanted to do it, you could probably do it somewhere around $1,200-$1,300. I wasn't paying that kind of money for a Beyonce ticket, but I don't think that that's unreasonable for like the extreme Beyonce fan, for you to be able to be in the suite, have the comfort of the suite. It can be catering in there. It included parking. So it was like actually a really good deal, but that still was a little too steep for us. Okay, but if y'all thinking about it, that's maybe something. If you got a group of people that would want to do something like that, that's something maybe you guys could look into. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. The Harry Styles album won Album of the Year. I actually think Harry Styles' album is a very good album, okay? I actually think Renaissance is actually a pretty good album, you guys. But they gave it to Harry Styles. The folks were not happy about that. People have said that, they will give Beyonce the awards that don't matter, and then they'll give the big ones to, the other people. I don't know what to say to it. I mean, yes, I can see that probably happening. They probably sit down at the table and be like, okay, Beyonce already got enough. Let's let some other people win. Okay, that could be what the situation is. Is it fair? Probably not, but life is not usually fair these days, you guys, even for the likes of a Beyonce. So, and if you feel that the album Renaissance is the album of the year for you, then really that's all that should matter. Of course, I'm sure she does care, because she wouldn't submit her work if she didn't want to win. But, I think that Beyonce is pretty clear on the respect that people have for her in the industry, outside of the industry. I mean, the love is there, so even if a group of people don't tell her that she has the album of the year, I'm sure there are millions of fans that will tell her that differently. So it's okay, you guys, it's okay. And fuck, a win is a win, because you know why? The fact that she did win, whether she win 2 or 3 that night, that definitely put her into the record status. She is now the most winningest Grammy artist, okay, with 32 awards. So I think she won 3, because I think she had 29 before that night started. And now she has 32 Grammy awards. And I mean, fuck, a win is a win, you guys. I'm happy for her. It's great to see a Black woman get up there and so graciously accept her award. You know, we wasn't sure if we was gonna get her in there for that damn award because she was late. She had won for Cuff It. I think she had won like Best R&B Song or something. Don't quote me, but I believe it was Best R&B Song for Cuff It. And she wasn't there. You know, the Dream went up there and said, you know, niggas is on CP time. Okay, Beyonce, thanks you. And apparently she was stuck in traffic. I was like, Beyonce, and I'm gonna need you and Jay and the rest of the team to leave the house a little earlier. Okay, we trying to see you make history and you out there on La Cienega some fucking way. Nigga, what is we doing, girl? This is your night. Like, this is the second time that she done showed up late. Remember last time? I don't know if that was last Grammys, but remember the last few Grammys ago, maybe, she got there in the middle of Meg Thee Stallion accepting her award for their remix of whatever the song was that they had together. So I was just like, maybe it's something that she does on purpose, because we know that Beyonce does not like to publicly speak. Okay, that's not her thing. She would rather just give you guys the performance, right? And maybe that's her way of not having to get up there a whole bunch of times and say shit. Let me just walk in, you know, a little late, sit it on down, and then get up there for my award, you know, that's going to put me at the record status, and then sit it on down somewhere. She looked beautiful. She had on a Gucci dress. I love the look. I love the look, you guys. I just really admire Beyonce. I think she's just, you know, and I know that a lot of people don't like her just because a lot of people love her, which is unfortunate, but that's the way of the world, you guys. But yeah, I'm happy for her. I'm happy for her. So congratulations to Beyonce, okay? She deserves it. She definitely deserves it. I told you guys that I also watched because I wanted to see the hip hop tribute. I knew that Black Thought and LL Cool J were the ones that, and I think Questlove were like the ones that kind of curated the whole thing and made sure that they had people from the past and the present, you know, to give us kind of like a timeline of when rap started all the way to present day. And of course we had like the for real legends, the ones that's even older than I am, shit, in the, you know, 60s and whatnots. And they took it all the way through to Glorilla and, you know, what was that? I see the hot. So y'all know that song I'm talking about. Child, I was just like, whoo, just to see the progression of rap, or some people will say the digression. Is that the word? The digression of rap. Depending on what you think, child, I was just looking at the people from the present day, and I was like, whoo-wee, rap has totally changed. I don't want to ever look like that older person that, you know, just be hating on new shit just because it's not for me. I actually do really like some new rap, but it's just, to me, okay, I know my younger rock stars out there might love the music that's out today. And there is some great music out today, but I still don't feel like it's just not the same, y'all. It's not the same. That doesn't mean it's worse. It just means it's not the same. And if you didn't see that watching that tribute, then I know something. But I was pissed because me and Mr. was watching the tribute and we was all into it and enjoying it. And right when Method Man came out, okay, I heard METHOD, man, METHOD, and then that shit cut to like a Tide commercial. Oh my God. I was like, what? And I could tell just from them few little letters that we got that he was looking good as he usually does. I was pissed. And I was just like, are they just really not going to bring the Grammys back? I think they showed like 2 or 3 commercials, you guys. And then finally, when it came back, it was right when Missy Elliott was ending her part. And I know everybody had just like a couple of bars that they did, so it wasn't like I missed a whole lot. But still, you got like the 2 ones that you know that I just told y'all last week how much I love Missy. Okay, that's another one that will get me out my seat, honey. All you got to do is play. What's the song? Music makes you lose control. Music makes you lose control. Let's go. Get it go now. Get it go now. Get it go now. You know that song. And what's the other song? And then the other one is Get Your Freak On. Like those 2 songs, if I hear them, I'm going to dance. I'm going to dance. And even some of her newer music. Anyway, I'm getting off track, but when they cut back in it, I was mad. And then, of course, you know, as we got into the 2000s, like Missy was early 2000s, and then as we got like further on, then we had Uzi and Glorilla, and you know, child, I was just like, oh, okay. But you know, I do actually like that little Uzi. He used to get on my nerves, but the more I see him, I do kind of, he's so weird that I actually think that he's a funny, cute little guy. I mean, he seems to be harmless, you guys. He seems to be a good guy. So anyway, but yeah, that was pretty much it for me. I didn't even see Jay-Z's performance. They tell me that Jay-Z performed. I haven't even seen any clips on social media really of his performance. So did he actually perform, you guys? Yeah, that was it for me. I did see Lizzo. Yes, let me take it on back. Lizzo's performance, loved it. I love the fact that she changed up the song a little bit, brought the choir out there. I just really love Lizzo. I don't know why people would not like her, because she's heavy set. Like, what? She is talented. She is a sweet girl. She seems like she just seems like a good girl. So I don't understand why all the Lizzo hate. But good for her. And she just be so excited, and I be happy for her, you know, being so excited. Like, yeah, good person. So that was what happened at the Grammys. We also saw the In Memoriam tribute. That's when they usually talk about all of the, all of the people that contributed to music that had passed before, from the last Grammys to this one. And shout out to my eyelash girl, Mia. Her father is actually buried. What is his last name? He actually was one of the founders of, Motown. Wrote a bunch of songs. I can't even think of his name right now. Let me get his last name. Oh, you guys, I cannot find his last name. But anyway, his name is Barrett. Can't think of the last name, but he wrote a lot of songs, and he actually was in that tribute as well. Rest in peace to him. He just died recently. But I wanted to tell you guys about depending on who you ask, either it was a physical altercation or it was some sort of loud argument that Quavo and Offset had behind the stage, right as Quavo was about to go out and do a tribute to Takeoff. Now, you guys know that there's been bad blood between Quavo and Offset. We still don't really know exactly why. I mean, it depends, again, who you ask. Some people say it's about money. Some people say that it's over Saweetie. Some people say it's a whole bunch of other reasons, problems with the label, all of that. So they weren't getting along or speaking when Takeoff died. We know that they are all related, okay? You guys have been telling me that Quavo was not actually related to him, but I still don't know for a fact if he's not, because some people say, yes, they are cousins, and no, they not. I don't know. But they are like family, considering that they've grown up together and they've been together as a group for a long time and all of that, okay? So for all intents and purposes, we just gonna say they all family, okay? They weren't speaking when Takeoff died. I was hoping that this was going to be the glue that brought Quavo and Offset back together, because you guys know a lot of times death has a way of either bringing people closer or really, really tearing them apart. Looking like in this case, the closer thing is not going to happen, okay? So apparently the Grammys, the people at the Grammys wanted Quavo and Offset to both be out there on stage while I guess Quavo performed the song, and Quavo did not want Offset out there. They say that according to TMZ, they say that he was blocked from going out by Quavo. Offset was blocked by going out by Quavo, and that's when they said that there was some sort of physical altercation. Offset ended up coming out after that story came out and said that that was not true. He was like, what does it look like me fighting with my family? Okay, y'all crazy as hell. Okay. Then we found out, okay, if there wasn't a physical altercation, then it must have been like a loud argument, because then video actually came out where we actually saw and can hear Cardi B yelling at Offset and Quavo, saying how they both were wrong and for them to stop it. Okay, so there was definitely something that happened. May not have been, didn't probably come to fisticuffs. We wasn't throwing blows and things like that. But it definitely was some sort of confrontation behind stage. Quavo ultimately was the only person that came out there. I mean, isn't it Quavo's song? So really, what would Offset have been doing anyway? But anyway, Quavo did do it. It was actually very well done. I did see that as well that night. That story is still very, very, very sad. It's even worse because they were family, and it's just, it's so much other drama, which we'll talk about in a minute. It's so much other drama that I feel like nobody can really move forward because, the investigation of Takeoff's death is still ongoing. You would think with them having already have arrested the person that's supposed to be responsible, that would have been kind of it. Not it, because I know there's more to the case, but that kind of would have calmed down some of the other speculation. But it's still a lot going on there, and it's, I think, keeping everybody from being able to start their grieving and healing process and trying to move forward, because they still dealing with the bullshit of what the streets are saying and what crazy people are saying out on social media and things like that, you guys. So it's sad. It's very, very sad, and it's getting to be messy. And it's unfortunate because, I think that Takeoff was probably neutral in that. It seemed that him and Offset were still cool, and it was really just Quavo and Offset that were having the problems. And so now that Takeoff is gone, I don't know what's going to make them two be able to get it back together. And then on top of that, everybody is family, which adds a whole nother element to it, because sometimes family shit can go way deeper, and we might never know the ins and outs of what happens as far as the family is concerned. So I just really wish that everybody could just leave it alone, let the investigation take place, and let everybody try to get past and try to start healing from all of this. But as of right now, I don't know. Them wounds are still very, very raw and open. And people are still very emotional about it, and it's just not in a good space or place. So, all we can do is pray that they can get past that, you guys. And they probably will, just it's still going to take a long time. It's probably going to take a long time. So, I think that was pretty much it, what I wanted to say about the Grammys. You guys can tell me what you thought about the Grammys. You're good, you're bad, you're ugly. Y'all leave all that in the comments below.
Running from pain, running from strain, running from things, running from schemes.